Faint nuances from the background.
Hmm?
Can you hear?
No, it's not working. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Masterclass 7, which is titled as Propagating Active Learning at Scale, a community effort by Dr. Sameer Sahasrabuddhe. This event is organized by EdTech Society. We will wait for some time before we begin uh, the event. Thank you. We'll start in a short while. Thank you. Okay, welcome once again, everyone who has joined for this event. EdTech Society is organizing Masterclass 7 titled Propagating Active Learning at a Scale, a community effort by Dr. Sameer. Uh, I will now hand over to our Executive Director of EdTech Society, Dr. Briju Tankachan, and he will let you know about the society and the membership drive. Hello, sir. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, great. Thank you, Sunny. Can you? I think my voice is clear. And
Yes, sir. You
thank
are audible.
wonderful. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sunny. And behind the scene, Ram is also helping with this event. I just really want to thank all the team behind working this one. And those who are watching us live on the YouTube also, welcome. So let me take very few minutes to briefly introduce the EdTech Society. Um, the EdTech Society, it's a new organization in the field of educational technology. And so one of the main goal of this organization is to bringing together education, technology, and community. So we cannot achieve anything standalone. So one of the main goal of this organization is to bring together the researchers, practitioners, come together as a create a public forum. So in that way we can share the ideas, the best practices, so in that ultimately we can help the learners learn better, so to improve the teaching and learning. So that's one of the main goal of this organization. As you can see that we have anyone can join this organization, researchers, developers, and there is an entirely YouTube video on about this organization as well, the launch of the organization as well. You can see the purpose and everything. I strongly encourage you to visit the etsociety.org website. So apart from that, I just want to take a moment also to talk about the membership drive. So, we are extended the deadline till January 31st, only 10 more days left to join this organization. And, we are already seeing a lot of people are joining to, learn from each other as well. And so while you join, some of you might have some confusion about, okay, the email or WhatsApp, so I would recommend to join our two main important groups, social media. One is the LinkedIn, educational technology, tech society's LinkedIn page. We will be sharing that as well. And also the WhatsApp group. So these are the main things. And also we have a Telegram group as well. And at the same time, we want to, honor your privacy as well. So we are not push adding you to the WhatsApp group. It's a voluntary, if you are interested to join, to learn and get the information from the tech society very faster. So please do join the WhatsApp group or the LinkedIn page. And there is a frequently asked question YouTube that we have created, and it's also available in our YouTube page. And so the membership fee is for the professionals 1,000 rupees, and for the students it's 600 rupees and plus taxes. Okay, there is a tax also included. GST, the tax is also included in the membership fee as well. So we really would like to come and see, and there is a big announcement is also coming, and we are going to have a big annual conference in November 2023. So you will be seeing more updates in our website soon as well. Okay, so I think I don't want to take too much time. We are very excited to hear from the speaker today, and I will just hand over to Sunny back to introduce the speaker. And yeah, so also you can see some of the benefits as well to join the EdTech Society. The membership opportunities for professional growth, attending the conferences, a symposium, presenting purpose. There are tons of opportunities are available when you join. So we really want to see you as a family member in our professional home. Thank you all for joining today's session. So we are excited to hear from the speaker. Back to you, Sunny and Ram. Um, uh, uh, so you can continue now. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. So, thank you for mentioning the roles of EdTech Society and the membership drive. There is one announcement for the event before we begin with our master class is that the letter of participation will be given to all the participants, the link for which will be shared in the YouTube chat. So please make sure to check that out towards the end of the event. Right. So now let's continue to our main event, which is masterclass on the topic propagating active learning at a scale, a community effort by Dr. Samir. I would like to invite Dr. Samir with us. Dr. Samir is a professor in practice at IIT Gandhinagar. He has a cumulative experience of about 20 years in various industries and such as advertising, animation, filmmaking, educational multimedia productions, and likewise. So, with that short introduction, I welcome Dr. Samir with us. Uh, Hello, Dr. Samir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. Yes. And am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible. You can continue now. Thank you. Thank you for being with
Yeah.
us.
Okay. I was having some cuts in the audio when I was listening to you. So I was not sure if I am audible to everybody. But yes, looks like it's going fine. So thank you, Sunny and Ram and Briju, for actually the way you started explaining about the activities of EdTech Society. Uh, it is exactly the objective that I actually chose the topic that I am going to present today. So yes, so that makes it easy for me. Let me just share my screen so that all of us can see this. Um just a minute. Yeah, can you see the screen? Yeah, can you see the screen now? Yes.
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Okay. Okay. Great. So so let's get going immediately without wasting any more time now that we have many people joining in. Hello to all of you who are on YouTube and watching this, and we will just go ahead and see couple of interesting stories probably today. That's the objective of this session. And the first and the foremost, probably the question uh, is about a disclaimer. The point being, like, this is a case study based on my personal experience, the way I have encountered people and the circumstances. This could be very interesting to listen, but may not be kind of yielding the same results in your own scenarios. So, probably just keep this disclaimer in mind. But I am definitely going to share some of the interesting techniques of probably getting there. So, yeah, we will talk about it. When everyone actually saw this title, probably some of you joined for the active learning phrase in this. Some of you joined for the propagation part at scale, like how to make this at scale, and some joined for the community part of it, like how to get that into community. So yeah, that is actually the crux of this talk, and I'm just going to touch base all three things in parts. Therefore, this big question about whether this session is fully about just the community of practice as a concept, or it is about active learning as a technique of imparting learning. So, the take I have on this is, if you look at active learning as a definition, also, you will see that it involves interaction, it involves people interacting with each other. It could be peer to peer, it could be um, learner instructor interaction, it could be even instructor instructor interactions. And therefore, concept of community is already inherent in that. And when I realized that the community that was created around this topic, which I am very proud to be part of, I thought that it will be nice to share these techniques through the lens of active learning. So therefore, we will be just trying to figure out how we can actually get in there. Okay, so what are we going to do? So first and the foremost, we are going to discuss the concept of what is a COP. Uh, for just for the purpose to keep our focus on a particular definition and then go around it. I will also take you through a interesting case study of how a community was created around this active learning teaching learnings, and then we will also deliberate on, if you have to build a COP at your own place, then what are the techniques of doing that. So as you see, the first and the third bullet point is where I need your support, and the the second one is obviously a narrative. So yeah, probably. So Sunny, I'll probably need your help in between sometimes to chip in and read out the queries if as and when they happen on YouTube. Okay, so I'm okay if you want to interrupt me in between, right?
Sure,
So let's
sir.
go ahead. Yeah. So let's just go. We are just going to use this definition as of now. We are just going to say that a community of practice is now the words which I have kind of emphasized are important here. It's a persistent, sustained social network of individuals. Now, this persistent and sustained are two crucial points here, because we happen to collaborate at a given point in time. Like, we meet at conferences, we meet at social gatherings, and then we say, yeah, we'll be in touch and all that. So that doesn't count. It has to be a sustained network. Uh, the other criteria is that they should share and develop an overlapping knowledge base. Now, it need not be exact same. So not necessarily that everyone teaching physics can form a COP. They also can form a COP, by the way. In fact, we had a long debate in our community whether the departmental faculty members of a particular college, is that a community of practice. So yes, by definition, like rhombus and parallelogram, um, and square and rectangle, all are quadrilaterals. But then there has to be some difference there. So we'll come to that. It also has to have a set of beliefs, values, history, and experiences focused on common practice. Now, that common practice is where it starts getting interesting. Uh, all of them should believe in certain ways of doing things in a particular manner, and that feeding back into the system of this community is where the things start getting exciting, interesting. So let's see uh, how and what that happens to. But for that, I just need to get some feedback from you. The question is, uh, if you want to implement any kind of active learning strategy in your classroom, for example, it could be a think, pair, share activity, or uh, peer interaction activity, peer learning activity. In case you're planning to do such kind of activity in your classroom, whenever you take a call on that, what is one challenge that you will face? So, can you list one challenge here? I'll also try to go to the YouTube channel to see if there is a feedback about it. Probably it will take some time on the feedback because, yeah, we'll have to read it out. But yeah, Sunny, if you can tell me if you get some feedback on that.
Yes, sir. I'll
Yeah,
convey those
read
feedbacks
out.
to.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
yes. So
So
we we have seen that many people try to go out of the box by executing certain interesting experiments in their classes, and one of them is definitely um, active learning technique. So, yeah, if you try to do it yourself, what could that be? One challenge that, yeah, Sunny.
yes, sir. So there are many responses now.
Hmm.
One of them by Ganesh Lokande is time constraint
Okay,
in the class.
okay,
Then by Daisy Wadhwa, we have planning the activity according to the class size.
okay, okay,
Surbhi Sharma has said diverse background of students can pose problems of pace of functioning on the problem.
okay, okay. Yeah. So time management is definitely like because we are introducing a new strategy and we have a set principle or we have a set timetable about following it, and then suddenly new strategy may eat up on timing. So yeah, it is always difficult thing. Non-participation by people in the class. So if what if students don't even talk back about the thing per share, then how do you get that? There could also be a situation where you can get complaint from the neighboring class that this class is too noisy because people are talking all the time. So yeah, barring such such complaints, there are lots of challenges definitely. So when we have to address such a challenge, one of the reasons that it will be mm, easy to deal with it is when we try and create a community around it. Because if you really try to go solo on this, it's very hard to get that right. So whenever we want to achieve something big, we definitely need lot of people to support it. So like it is said that if you want to uh, right just reach somewhere, then if you go together probably you will reach far. Then so what essentially it means is that whenever you try to do such an individual effort of just trying it out yourself, obviously you have to start individually, but then you will be labeled as outlier, and then because you don't get support from other colleagues and sometimes the institutions, it typically fizzles out, and then you feel like okay, let me give up on this because there is no support from the system, nobody is participating, nobody is trying to help me out in this, students are also not very encouraging. That is exactly where we have to find out where is a community of people who actually can help me out in solving this problem. Believe me, once more and more people start doing it, it easily becomes a norm. And if you just read the NEP 2020 document that has been published, we we have interesting traces of how we have to bring in active learning to our classrooms is quite stressed upon in those documents, and therefore it will not happen overnight. It has to have a backing of the society and the community as such. Therefore, the suggestion number one is that even if you are solo in that, just don't deter yourself from not doing it. Rather, you should just be on it, but at the same time try to find out a community that can help you in doing this. Now, you can say that it's okay because you just found out a community and you could do it, then you can't like preach us about how to do it. But I think you would be interested in knowing how we actually got this community, because it's not easy to get such a community. So it just started off with, I think, just take you back into time, early 2017, where IIT Bombay X was a very uh, new platform, and we had rolled out faculty development programs for teachers across the country. Now, this program was a huge success because it was riding upon the success of the earlier project called as Teach 10,000 Teachers at a Time. And these MOOCs that we had published from this IIT Bombay X platform had a huge number registering for that. And because it was a hybrid model where people had to actually travel to a place and attend sessions and interact with each other, building of community was kind of built into the design of this kind of MOOC. So that helped us a lot. And we saw that a lot of people were participating in it, and not only participating, they were doing some very good things. So uh, after we got some funding from, I think it was SAP, which gave us some funding for felicitating these toppers of that particular course. We found out 236 toppers out of so many people who had, some thousands of people had completed the course, but we selected the top 236 people. I remember earlier it was only 81 people. The list was only 81. Then Professor Fatak intervened and he said, "Why are we only making so less numbers? So let us make it to 236." And then, so that became, when I saw those people in auditorium where they were just coming down the dais and then they were interacting with others, and they were saying, "Oh, I did something like this in my classroom in Hyderabad," and somebody was talking about how they did it in Udaipur and Jaipur, and even smaller places like Jalgaon in Maharashtra, or uh, various other places. So that was one thing which I started observing, that this community, even if it is geographically separated at various places, they are united at the cause. This is the common interest. And therefore, when we offered the first course on learner-centric MOOC model, we invited these people to take the course, first of all. And when they joined the course, after the completion of the course, we tracked the toppers of this course also. And when the next course was offered in 2020, we invited these people to be the part of a teaching associate group. Now, this is where I have just highlighted this part, is because it's not a it's not a very new idea to get your students of earlier class to be your teaching assistants in the next class. That's perfectly fine. But we wanted them to go beyond merely being the teaching assistants. We also wanted them to be a community member. So what I did was that we just created a community out of that group. Now, this 7 or 8 people, their their primary task was to maintain or to moderate the discussion forum on a MOOC. Now, as all of you know, one of the most active learning strategy for online course is to have a vibrant discussion forum, which should be buzzing all the time, when people should ask questions and their questions should be answered. This is lacking in many of the MOOCs, especially on Swayam, that I have seen. And the reason being that there is no workforce available for doing this kind of task. We realized that the workforce was actually with us when we completed a course. And when we invited the toppers of the earlier course, they were more than happy to be part of it, just because two things. One is that they were able to contribute something positive, and like all of us agree, because we are into education domain, that sharing your knowledge with somebody is actually a sure shot way of learning it better. So the moment they started confronting various questions from the participants, they themselves started recording comments such as like, I learned a new thing because of that question asked by the participant. When I did the course, I never encountered this problem at all. So such things started happening. And therefore, from a small group, how did we actually become a community of practice or a COP? That is the point. All of us were tied up by this interest in active learning. That is the given part. So that I don't have to tell you separately. We all were teaching in our respective domains in our respective universities, but we were tied up at a point where a course on Swayam used to happen once in a year, and we all used to just come together to interact with each other and see. But in 2020, as you all know, the pandemic hit us. And suddenly there was, in parallel to the pandemic of Corona, there was an epidemic of faculty development programs. Now, I call it epidemic because literally, whenever I have asked multiple teachers during that period, and they used to say, we are literally attending so many of FDPs currently, and it's a flood of FDPs happening all over the place. That resulted in one more requirement, that everyone was looking for resource persons around. Now, where are resource persons who can actually have some interesting topics, and more importantly, interesting type of a delivery for people? In that category, the active learning practitioners were suddenly in high demand, because our slides had think, pair, share, our slides had peer interaction, our slides had polls, our slides had Mentimeter, our slides had so many interesting things. So we started adopting this, and I was kind of constrained at times to say yes to so many FDP requests which are coming. So the first thing I started doing was to invite the members as buddies. Now, buddy is a typical thing where you can assist me in part of the lecture. So if I get a 2 hour slot or something which was really high on energy, because not easy to sustain 2 hours on an online mode. So we split it into partly into software demos or some hands-on tutorials and things like that, and the members started picking up their tabs to deliver these things. This actually also take them through not just buddies, but then they started contributing to creation of new lectures, new sessions around active learning, around designing of visual elements of your presentation, like slides or concept maps. So we started creating new topics, and these people were co-creators because they were experts in those respective domains also. They then we slowly had more people converting themselves to co-speakers. So where we had two people speaking in the same session, like instead of I am speaking alone today, we had multiple speakers speak about this. Also, I should say we can thank pandemic for that, because everyone was working from home. That it was quite possible for all of us to spare like half an hour for interaction in a class after my regular class in the college was over, or in between the class when I did not have a commitment in the college. So we started doing this, and then finally graduated to speakers. The interesting part is that by the end of 2020, we had multiple speakers ready with us, because we just started off following this process of right from being an observer to becoming a moderator during discussion. Like you can see some of them already in the discussion forum today, and they probably would be typing out queries, so answers to the queries that have been asked, without even me getting bothered about my flow in this session. So these kind of things started by the moderators of the discussion forums in a live class, then becoming a buddy, then becoming a co-speaker, speaker, and finally a coordinator who can actually talk to a college and understand their requirement and get it done. And why our presentations were liked by people is because we included lots of active learning strategies in that. We had reflection spots. In fact, I don't know if there are some people in the audience who are part of this COP. They have their own YouTube channel like Tejinder Kaur and even Hemulata, who teach mathematics and finance. And when they are making their own videos, or Ajita, or maybe 11 if she's there, these people actually create videos, but they have reflection spot in between where the video gets paused, a question is presented on screen, and then so on and so forth. Now these active learning techniques are carry forwarded in a way that they make the content engaging. There are collaborative discussion forums, I already said, co-creation, pooling of expertise, like we have been talking to each other to get the best out of each other, and yeah, coordinating with people and scheduling and other things was already part of it. So that's how the COP started getting a complete 360-degree presence in all aspects of uh, what we can call as online instruction. So it comes to reflection spot again. And so if you now know that this is a kind of a group that has been created, or a COP is already created, but even if there is no COP, for example, and you have a group of people at your own college or your own institute or your own office, for example, if there are some working professionals here, what are some tangible outcomes of a special interest group? Like we are doing all these things, like what you saw here. We are doing co-teaching, we are doing lectures, we are doing uh, collaborative discussion forums, and we are scheduling, financing, and all that. So, what would be some tangible outcomes that you can tell me? So you can start typing them in the chat box, and this is also one way of like having a sip of water in between so that I can give you some tasks to do and I get a chance to sip. And Sunny, whenever you see something, you can just
Yeah, sure, sir.
let me know. And if there is any other question in between, I would love to know about it.
Response from Tejinder Kaur is learn new and innovative ways of doing things
Okay,
is one of the outcomes.
okay. Yeah, but Tejinder, can you be more specific about what what could be the outcome? What could be the tangible outcome?
R.A. Singh has posted, we can learn more than we know.
Yes, we can learn more than we know. Is like exactly because we are learning from each other. Completely agree. But I just want to know if there is something that you can think of as a tangible outcome, like you can measure it. Like what is that we did? Anything
Saroja
measurable?
Ganapati, share
Yeah.
materials and methods.
Yes. Shared materials and methods. Yes. Agreed. Because these are tried and tested methods already. So yeah, you can rely on them.
Surbhi Sharma and Siddhi S, exchange of new ideas and best practices and exposure to best practices.
Okay, exposure to best practices and sharing of. Okay, great. I think everyone is trying to revolve around
Success
what we
stories,
have.
Ganesh Lokhande.
Okay, fine. But what about some of these? Like what we got out of it? Obviously, uh, this is definitely a big takeaway that we carry back the active learning practices in our own teaching. So, like, there are people who started a WhatsApp group with focus questions instead of just a normal WhatsApp. Everyone had a WhatsApp group by that time, actually. Everyone used to connect with their students through a WhatsApp group. That was nothing new. But then the new part was having active learning strategy of posting a focus question for every week or maybe for a particular concept and see the discussion happen around it, or introducing reflection spot, as I already said, or having collaborative learning in classroom by introducing padlets and mentimeters. So these were the techniques. These are the practices, like somebody already said that. But in addition to that, people started, for us, we started creating our own courses wherever we got opportunity. For example, Open Education for Better World is a kind of society based in Slovenia, and they invite applications for creating online course every year. Only criteria is that the course should be released in open source. There were people who were interested in creating some content in that domain, and they started creating courses. When they started creating courses, they started adopting active learning strategies in their courses. So there are eh, active learning based online courses created because of this COP now. uh, we also had a very interesting invitation coming to us in the form of universities and companies who are into IT or some other domain. But in order to create training material for their companies, they wanted to create content, and we got a mentoring or a consulting kind of opportunity to uh, active learnify their content. So maybe I should have a better word for that. But yeah, so add active learning strategies to their existing content was a consulting given to us by these companies, and almost 2 or 3 universities are working on various levels of creating online courses with the help of the consultants who are part of our community now. And they not only share their expertise with the universities and these things, but they help the universities to create their courses in active learning fashion. So that is being really a big value add for the universities. We started training others about how to do it. So discussion forum was a neglected piece of quadrant according to the 4 quadrant approach of Swayam. So when people saw our course and they said, "Oh, your course is so much buzzing with discussions and all that. So how do you do it?" So we said, "Yeah, we have discussion forum moderators." And they said, "But how do they know how to do it?" So we trained them. Okay, then can you train my discussion forum moderators? I will also float an invitation that, okay, last year's toppers can become discussion forum moderators this year, and there will be a training provided. And we see that we started getting invitations for conducting training programs for not only courses, but we also did a training program for the entire Swayam platform teaching assistants of how to do, how to manage discussion forums, which in turn they started delivering to others. We also got into publishing because that is something which is based on our experiences of how we applied active learning in various domains, how we worked on interesting video creation processes or discussion forum methodologies. We documented them, we conducted user tests, and we published. And these papers also are a very important tangible outcome for us. We started offering FDP sessions, as I said already, but the numbers just shot up during last 2 years. I think we have conducted around 160 sessions. This number can be cannot be probably the accurate number. It is more than that, but just we have a document of 160 sessions that we have conducted, and which actually ranged up to 250 hours. The reason this number is important is because during these sessions, and let us say that this is a session of around 45 minutes to 75 minutes on an average. In this, we were using multiple active learning techniques and displaying them, demonstrating them, in fact, showing software demonstrations to implement this in active learning techniques such as H5P or Visio or many other techniques. So this has reached out to a large audience. That's the point I'm making. Because of implementing all these things in our sessions, and even if you take like on an average 40 participants in any one of the session, so it still comes out to a very large number. So we have been able to reach out to a very large faculty base through all these interactions that we have been having. Well, but these are the kind of the measurable or the tangible, as you can call it, these kind of sessions. But we also had fun along the way. So that's one of the key principles of working with Professor Sridhar, that if you are not having fun, then it's not worth it. And that I have been following throughout. And to just share some of the interesting outcomes apart from, yeah, these ones, is like we had inter-institutional collaborations. Our COP members, because they were representing a particular institute, they started interacting with other institutes also. I think recently, just today before the session, I think two of our members were jury for some other college and so on and so forth. We also have a nice COP created in Goa University now, led by two of our members, Natasha and Irene, who are um, who have a group within the Goa University to help the participants of the LCM course, which is starting on 23rd of January. And if they have any queries, they can actually contact any one of them locally for a query about the course. So this kind of support systems could be created very easily. We obviously get into new experiments. We try to bring out a new idea on our faculty development portion, or a new way of implementing it, or any new software which comes to the market and we know some update about it. We immediately share it with others. We try it out. We also have a place which is good for non-judgmental review of our ideas. So even if we have ideas and we throw it open in the community, we are sure that we'll get a clean review about it. It is nothing to do with about our backgrounds and other domains and other things. So that is a big takeaway for many of us, and we really cherish that part. Um, Obviously, because of the interdisciplinary nature, because these are not from a specific domain. Just to give you sample, we have people from medical background, we have a dentist, we have people teaching languages like French, English, Marathi, we have people from computer science, we have people from electrical engineering, we have biosciences, we have arts, people teaching music. uh, I am a fine arts graduate myself, so yeah. So these kind of things actually bring the interdisciplinary flavor quite naturally and organically to the whole system. That is one big additional advantage of this, and the fresh ideas can just be discussed in a very open manner. We also started writing about it, like through our blogs and articles. Although these can also be treated as a tangible outcome, but I'm just listing it under creative outcomes because, yeah, we are using them just as a mechanism to express ourselves and communicate to a larger community about what we are doing and how we are doing. But just because we are on this topic of podcast and films, in fact, one of the members here, Ajita, won an award at NCRT competition for the best voiceover um, for her podcast. So such things keep happening, and we decided to make a short film about how teachers were busy during the pandemic creating or kind of um, documenting a lot of reference material. The film was called as The Quest, and this film was actually nominated at the Helsinki International Education Film Festival. So, with the success of that, we were slightly bolder and we decided why not make one more film. So, in case you guys are in for watching the snippet of the next film that is coming up soon, we would like to just show that. Okay. So, this film is coming soon. This, like I've written, even the earlier film for that matter, is a film by the teachers and about the teachers, but not just for teachers. It's for everyone actually to figure out what is this. So till I just set it up, probably Sunny, if you have any other comments there which require my attention, you can just talk about it, and I'll just share my movie screen now. Are there people saying that they want to see a film, or I am just pushing a film onto them? Okay, let's see. Okay,
I think the participants definitely want to see a movie. They're all
okay,
typing yes, yes.
okay. Yeah, can you just push the screen for the movie now on the StreamYard screen? Okay, I'm just giving. I'm just giving you a little bit of background here. Maybe you can. I'm just muting it. But this is during the lockdown. The interesting part that you should see is somewhere here. Yeah. Uh, so we have a problem at hand where a course has more than 3,000 participants, and we need to have a discussion forum which is uh, buzzing, not so much active, and we want people to talk about it. But then the instructor and the teaching assistant of like total strength of two people is very less for doing that. So I have a discussion with Natasha and Daisy, who are my teaching associates in that particular course, and they are actually planning for something to solve this problem. And this film actually starts at this point. So I'm just going to show you an in between portion because we will not have enough time for the entire thing.
साथी हाथ बढ़ाना साथी रे 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 साथी हाथ बढ़ाना साथी हाथ बढ़ाना एक अकेला थक जाएगा मिलकर बोझ उठाना साथी हाथ बढ़ाना साथी हाथ बढ़ाना एक अकेला थक जाएगा मिलकर बोझ उठाना साथी हाथ बढ़ाना साथी हाथ बढ़ाना साथी रे 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 साथी हाथ बढ़ाना साथी रे
Okay. Let me come back to the presentation part. Yeah. Can you push the presentation now? Yeah. Yeah, thanks. So, the important part here is that you should all just know about is that the shooting was done entirely during the pandemic period. It was done by the family members of these debutant actors, I should say, who are acting as themselves in the film as instructor or professor in their respective college, and how they are helping the discussion forum, because the the query will get passed on from one person to another, and then they will. So because we had 8 people, every day one person used to be there on the discussion forum to answer all the queries, check them, and the important part was to hand over the um, status to the next person, and then the next person can take over from that point onwards, and all this thing was happening seamlessly, which resulted in a huge number of posts. Actually, the reason being that normally discussion forum was only utilized for uh, just saying like when is the exam, and uh, will I get a certificate, and very very ordinary administrative queries. I can't call it ordinary probably, but yes, only administrative queries, because it's a course. We would like to have more academic queries, and unfortunately that was not happening. But because of this intervention of using discussion forum moderators, and because these 8 guys started interacting with people, the participants got confidence that if I ask something, I'm going to get an answer. In fact, the turnaround time was reduced up to like 4 hours sometimes, because people used to just visit the forum all the time and try to answer the responses to the queries that are asked by people. And that actually resulted in a phenomenal number of posts during that entire course. And this is, I think, a very important takeaway, for the reason that the MOOCs will only function if we strengthen this kind of interaction. So, for that reason, I realized that this becomes a crucial point. And now, because we are towards almost the end of the thing, because we said that we will close by 4:30, so I thought I'll leave you with a couple of takeaways right now, and then if there are questions, so people who have questions about anything can start typing now. So by the time I get to the end of this slide, I'll be able to utilize time to answer them. And Sunny, you can just make a note of the questions. So the important things that you should try and do is to curate everything, like right from selecting members to selecting content that you are going to work on, what active learning. If it is around active learning, then yes, you have to really curate what strategy are you trying to introduce in the group that they all should follow or practice. uh, these things should be curated, so don't leave it to open ended thing at that point, because this curation will help in focusing the activities of the group. So that's one important thing. At the same time, you have to create a safe environment which will flourish collaboration, and you can actually see how two people come together and do something very unique, which otherwise was a very hard task for a single person. If you can create that safe environment where people don't hold themselves back in collaboration. And the reason for doing this is that if you keep a very non-judgmental approach everywhere, I think you will see that many of them love that part. So that is one definite suggestion that I can have. And it should be a open outlook. It should not be very conservative, myopic ideas. So you can keep it open, but without any pressure of performance. Like, if sometimes I have experienced it a lot, and I started putting that as a disclaimer everywhere else when I interact in the group, that if I have to create slides for a session maybe, and I am struggling with it late in the night at maybe 10 o'clock or something, then I just post on the group like whoever is free can join me, and this is the meeting link. And because it is not like a pressure tactic. There are people who say, I am sleepy and I don't want to join in. Or there are people who will say, yeah, I can join in half an hour later, doesn't matter because I'm traveling right now, but 10:30 I'll join you. So this kind of thing is it's very crucial, and I have seen people, in fact, come back and beyond my knowledge also there are so many such interaction which happen inter member, and that is the crux of whole thing, because we don't have to really worry about pressure of performance in this case. And that happens because we promote totally non-hierarchical interactions. There's nothing like I have to take permissions, or should I post it or shouldn't I post it. Actually, just treating everyone equal comes with uh, the freedom as well as responsibility. So people are aware that this may have repercussion for somebody else, and if we respect each other's privacy and knowledge, then we automatically change the way we interact. So that has been one of the interesting things that I've observed here. Some things you can avoid, obviously, are being judgmental, because why people don't interact within their own groups at their workplaces is simply because the moment I, as the only faculty in the department trying think per se in the class, is immediately termed as outlier, and people start saying लगता है मतलब something is cooking, probably trying for a promotion or something, so trying to be very smart. So being judgmental is one of the biggest put-offs for people to be expressive in a group. So the moment you remove that layer, things become slightly clear and easy for people. And finally, uh, don't be demanding. It cannot be like, because it's a voluntary effort from everybody. It has to be in a way that it is comfortable for people to contribute. It cannot be at the gunpoint that you have to say that, okay, I need it by this date. It's just, but believe me, in my experience, I have never been let down by anybody, and so is no other member also being let down by anybody else. So when I see that people just collaborate and make things happen by adjusting their schedules and other tasks, it is a simply bliss thing to see. So that is where I think you guys can do this. But because I wanted to actually bring this up as a edtech society lecture or a master class, uh, is only because I wanted to bring all your thoughts together, where if you can type out like what could be such interesting topics which will create a community of practice out of the edtech society members. So now many of you are members already who are participating here. Some of you may not be members and may be thinking whether I should be a member or not. But let me tell you that this is one particular um, COP, I can call it, which will actually flourish in various directions. My kind of open-ended question to all of you is that can you type in one topic that EdTech Society should start a COP about, and how you can actually contribute to that. So if you can just start typing that, that would be wonderful to read, because at the end of the day, we all are responsible for taking this new way of education possible in the country. Whenever we see things such as NEP being rolled out, and whenever we see interesting experiments done by many people, we can't be sitting on the banks of the river and saying that, wow, that is so nice. We have to be inside it, and we have to put our 5 cents in order to make it move faster. So for that, I require your inputs about how we can take it. So the reason for this whole thing was to show you a glimpse of how things happen, and because they have already happened, I'm so much firm believer of how communities of practice can really contribute to this thing. So now I want to just listen to Sunny who will have some interesting points. and I will leave you with this slide where you can take down my contacts and websites wherever you can actually read about all the thing that I keep doing, because I write a lot about all the stuff that I've been doing all around. So Sunny, if you have something for me, then I would love to.
Uh, we have a few responses, sir. So there is one where by Surbi on the topic content creation. So maybe we can address
Okay.
that. Then
Yes.
standardized edtech practices by Geeta.
Okay, that is a nice
I
one.
think that is
Yeah.
the response to the
Yeah.
previous reflection point,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Research and training by Hemlata.
Hmm. Okay. What was that one by Geeta? I forgot to write it down.
Standardized edtech practices.
Okay. 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 Is there any question before that when I had just announced? There any query that the participants want me to answer?
There was one query by Anu uh, on the, I think that was a general query. So great thought and work, sir, but how to make it in practice? I think what he meant was how to actually
Yeah, how to
practice
have
it
your
in the
own. Yes,
class.
yes. So this
Yeah.
is exactly why my anticipated question was like, it's all great to see how you have done it, but then how will I be able to do it? So yeah, one way of that is to join a community of practice. But then again, please remember, if it starts happening that you just become a follower of something, then it is very dicey situation where it can easily convert into a cult. But if you really become a contributor and a vocal person in that particular cop, then it has a high probability that it will spin off various outputs out of that. And that's where I wanted to show you the case study, that maybe EdTech Society is one such cop that you can join in, and maybe you can contribute by putting your thoughts in front, and we can take it from there. So that could be one answer of that. Yeah. Anybody else?
Teachers as learning designers. So this
Okay.
is the response from Saroja.
Yes.
Then
Yes. I think learning design as an activity is very uh, in thing right now, and not many people have expertise on that. And I would not be surprised if people start approaching edtech society for giving out references, that okay, we want some good learning designers, can you suggest some people? So yeah, this is a very good cop that we can think of within edtech society activities. So all those who want to probably work in this domain can surround, like make a huddle with Saroja and EdTech Society, and then just start their own thread about it. So that would be nice. So now that we have already published the WhatsApp group and the Telegram group, and we are working on, maybe we will also think about a Slack group probably, because it just keeps the threads in order. But as an executive member of EdTech Society, I would like to suggest that we are open to suggestions of members how we can take it forward. The whole objective of today's masterclass was to get your attention to uh, a community building exercise, and see if we can actually join hands in getting to this process where we can build uh, excellent education content policy around in this country. So, with that, I think I would like to stop here if there are no other questions. And since it is exactly probably the 1 hour that was allotted to me, so I hope I am well within the time. Briju, if you have anything else, or uh, Sunny, if you see any other comments, we can take them or we can stop here. Thank you all for joining. Thank you to the members of my COP, especially who have made it possible to join in. Some people are traveling, probably some participants also, I can imagine, because this is a pretty uh, odd time. Most of the colleges are closing by this time, and maybe I'm hoping that a lot of people are traveling back homes and maybe in between their exams and things like that. So, thank you all the participants for taking out time to join to this session and being so interactive by posting your comments. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Samir. Thank you very much. It was very, you know, it was, we wanted to hear more. It was a very nice, actually, because of the time. Thank you very much starting this new year, 2013, this community starting as a community. Thank you very much, all the participants once again. And I will hand over to Sunny and Ram to close, other process and discuss. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Oh, by the way, next summer, Masterclass is also coming next February 20th. Please stay tuned. We have an exciting Masterclass is also lined up. So please do join that session. So we'll inform you as well. Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Briju and Dr. Samir. Dr. Samir for this wonderful session, and Dr. Briju on uh, giving a brief description about the EdTech Society and the membership benefits. On your screen there is an email and the phone number. So if you have any requirement, if you want to know anything about the society, you can reach out to us. In addition to the social media handles which are already shared, uh, uh, for the members, for the participants who have attended this masterclass, the form for the letter of participation is already shared on the chat. Please do check it out. It's a Google form which one needs to fill up in order to receive the letter of participation. So, with that, I guess I conclude this event. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ram, for this backend support. Thank you, Samir sir. Thank you, Riju sir. Uh, Now we will end this session. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, participants. Yeah, most important of all. Yeah.